Hello, patrons. Some of you have been asking about tokenomics. What's up with seeds? Do they get infinitely minted? What happens throughout the phases? So, we had a session about it based on the ideas that we had from before. Well, you've seen this graphic, the MetaGame's flywheel. That's not exactly a wheel. I guess most of you already know this flywheel concept, but just a quick rundown just in case. So we have people who are producing content, events, and technologies. This makes the awareness grow, connections happen, adoption as well. Then the community grows, resources expand, possibilities open up. This in turn again makes the content, events, and technologies happen more. And you see it's this sort of virtuous cycle that makes MetaGame grow. And then how it works under is that on this side, on the production side, we have the players who are creating value. They are generating XP. Based on the XP that they are generating, they earn seeds, and then they plant their seeds, or at least the ones that they don't have to sell to pay their bills. On the other side, we have patrons who recognize this value and who like, okay, there's this value being created, and so they water these seeds, and this is where we are at currently. So we have the PC pool, and watering seeds is what is required of people to become patrons. And one of the proposed mechanics is that so that if the value of seeds goes up, so should the number of seeds minted every cycle go down. And there are these things that we did so far, things that we'll be focusing in this first phase, which is like getting my meta adopted, bridge building with more DAOs, so bring more DAOs into metagame, finish V1 of the questing system and achievements, organize MetaFest V2, and then by the end of phase 1, finish the first version of the MetaOS along with this general crypto/DAO onboarding flow, and fill metagame with a shit ton of educational content and resources. Then metagame grows into phase 2, and what happens to seeds? Well, they become trees or they are replaced by trees. It takes about, say, 3 years to grow these seeds into trees, and that will be like 1 more year, at which point the patrons are faced a decision on whether to take their money out or proceed to get rug pulled and get the tree tokens instead. Because what would most likely happen in this stage is that at least half of the liquidity would get pulled out of this seed token by metagame itself, minting a shit ton of seeds, taking half of the liquidity out and putting it in the treasury, so we can start backing the new token, and then the new token gets streamed back to the people who planted and watered the seeds, with bonuses depending on how long ago they planted, whether they planted through the seed fund, and other things like that. But you can see in this second phase of the project, we don't have just patrons who are like recognizing value and thus watering seeds, but we have this flow of people actually using metagame as a platform. So we have the guilds and alliances and ecosystem players that are also feeding into this system by using metagame, paying for features, paying fees on the platform or whatever, and thus watering these seeds. On the other side, you still have these sort of core players that are working on building the metagame itself, who are again earning seeds and planting seeds, or not planting, but maybe they just want to sell them. But again, this same mechanic, like it takes 3 years to grow seeds into trees, and maybe during those 3 years they can be receiving like a stable income based on these seeds that are growing or something like that. But that's the general idea. And in this second phase of the project, it's again when metagame finally becomes a massive online coordination game, and we onboard many more DAOs into metagame, integrate many more pieces into the MetaOS, and start onboarding millions of contributors into the DAO ecosystem. Then moving on from there, so the people get the tree tokens. These trees are again put inside the pool where they are watered, and then these pool tokens are staked. And what you get out of staking these pool tokens is that these trees, again, after a certain period of time, start producing monies. And money is again streamed on a consistent basis back to the people who cultivated these trees. And also, when the first money gets minted, is also the moment where the last seed gets minted. This marks the transition to phase 3, which is the equilibrium phase, which is when metagame becomes sustainable, actually not needing any more people to buy seeds to like speculate on value or just like to support or donate, but instead metagame is earning enough seeds, so we have this harvest of monies that is being produced by the people who planted, who are watering the trees, as well as the metagame's treasury that is watering the seeds. This means that the money is guaranteed so that people can have faith and continue working on metagame without the fear of going hungry. The community creates value, people find metagame, people insert coins, and metagame treasury waters the trees, harvests monies, and so it goes in this cycle that no longer needs external money to like flow in, besides like the money that's flowing in for actual utility and use of the platform. And this is again where we stop minting seeds. Metagame is sustained. We're fostering thousands of experiments in coordination and problem solving, but they're not all paid just by metagame directly, so maybe we seed these initiatives, but all of these projects that we incubated sort of start becoming DAOs of their own, and other projects that are started through metagame are also like getting money from investment DAOs or like grants or whatever, so we don't have to keep on paying for everything with metagames tokens because people are just using the platform. And we just focus on the core platform and helping millions find their personal metagame and make an impact, with the metagame being the most optimal way to play life on a personal level as well as the collective level. And in the middle here you have this is based on the Octalysis gamification framework, and these are like the drives that get people to play games, but you see how they kind of map neatly onto the hierarchy of needs or just general human drives. And that's about it from this video. In the next one, I'm gonna give a walkthrough of my meta and the meta OS and talk more about these actual income streams, about how we plan on making this thing sustainable. Like, why would these ecosystem players in guilds and alliances even be paying anything into metagame? Just to make it clear, this is by no means finalized. This is just a vague idea that is prone to lots of changes, because we will be having a workshop with the token engineers doing modeling and just seeing which of these pieces make sense, which should be taken out. But this is just to give you some vague idea of the current thinking. Thank you for listening.